well, an enthralling day's play of rugby at the Cape Town Stadium, where the Stormers, the Bulls, the Sharks, the Lions, putting it all on the line in a friendly, basically, because they are looking forward to the Super Rugby season starting in 2 weeks' time. But my colleague Justin Ford is standing by at the Cape Town Stadium. That's where we will be chatting to him. But let's go to Justin Ford, who is at the Cape Town Stadium. And Justin, what a great atmosphere, over 50,000 spectators coming in the Cape Town Stadium. Just your thoughts overall, was this a resounding success for SA Rugby?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ronald. And what absolutely, like you said, just resounding success ahead of at least this tournament. I mean, it's exciting gears, at the stadium, some fantastic rugby being played and fans coming out in their kits, the various Marvel superhero kits. But with me, I've got John Goliath, and, we just witnessed the game. John, I mean, just in terms of the gears, I think let's just start off there. What an absolutely amazing feeling and atmosphere within the stadium. Official numbers are around just over 40,000 people. But, I mean, just amazing for rugby fans within the Cape Town to be here and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I think, Justin, this is something that maybe SA Rugby should consider in the regular Super Rugby season, having these sort of double headers at all the sort of stadiums, one at maybe FNB, one at Moses Mabhida, one in PE even, because the atmosphere was fantastic. You can see people are still hungry for the game. I think Super Rugby over the last couple of years maybe been a bit diluted. It hasn't, the product hasn't had the same sort of impact and oomph. But I mean, with all the gimmicks around this and I mean, bringing the children to the game, even the ticket prices, I think, contributed to what was a fantastic spectacle.
Makes absolute sense. And then starting off with the first match between the Sharks and the Lions, they took a while to get going. I mean, not scoring in their first sort of 20-minute period, only scoring in the closer to the halftime whistle. Just your thoughts on that match. What do you feel sort of the teams can take out of the opening match?
Yeah, I think it was sort of a double-edged sword, sort of these warm-up games. I think you want to give a lot of the guys some minutes under the belt to get some rust off, but you also want to sort of not let them get injured and sort of preserve them for the Super Rugby season ahead. I thought both teams sort of played well in patches. I was impressed by the handling, some of the handling. Obviously there was a lot of mistakes. It's sort of very early in the season. I mean, we're starting to play rugby at the end of January. Start of Feb now, so that was a bit of a concern, maybe some of the rustiness there, but I mean they still have 2 weeks to get that right. But I was impressed by the physicality though. I think both teams climbed in and it was it looked like they were hungry sort of to get the season started.
Okay. And I mean, just in terms of the second match, I mean, we sort of minutes away before the final whistle. We had to, unfortunately, leave the stadium to come and do the crossing. Yeah. But just in terms of that match, the Stormers going up 21-0, sort of just the luck of the bounce of the ball really going in their favour, but the Bulls managing to sort of just come back really strongly in the end.
Yeah, this was basically a typically sort of pre-season hit-out where a lot of mistakes were made, but also I think both teams punished those mistakes, and that was really good to see, especially with both teams having quality players, especially the Bulls playing a lot of their Springboks. Players making mistakes, but also having sort of the mindset to punish those mistakes. That was great to see. I think the Stormers would take a lot out of this game. Not playing with most of their Springboks sitting on the stands watching the match, and some of their fringe players really coming through against a Springbok laden Bulls team, and then I think they will be quite pleased with how they performed.
And what are your thoughts on Dwayne Vermeulen's homecoming? The Thor playing against the Thor. Fans, the Cape Town fans, giving him a bit of grief.
It wasn't a great homecoming, was it? There's a lot of booing on the field when every time he touched the ball. But I think he probably expected it. I think a lot of people in the Cape felt betrayed when he sort of chose to go to the Bulls instead of staying here in the Cape, where he actually made his name as a rugby player and became an icon of the Union. I think it was good banter. I think when he puts on the green and gold again, everybody will be firmly behind him.
And Super Rugby tournament, I mean, it starts on the 14th of February. Valentine's Day start. The South African teams only play on the 15th. but the tournament will run until the 6th of July this year, non-stop. Previously, you used to have the international break, where the teams could regroup. Sort of from a conditioning point of view, how important is that going to be to ensure that these players have what it takes to go all the way through? And then look ahead at the Rugby World Cup.
I think rotation is going to be key, and probably the squad with the best depth, I think is going to do really well. I still think the Bulls and the Lions will probably be right up there. The Sharks as well. I think they will compete hard. The Stormers showed today that they've got a bit of depth. With many of the Springboks sitting on the stand today. I just think there's also going to be probably, Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus. We'll probably want to see most of his top Springboks get enough rest ahead of what's going to be a massive World Cup for the Boks.
John, thanks very much for your time. Well, there you have it. An exciting day of rugby with fans enjoying it mostly, and an exciting time and looking ahead at what a Super Rugby competition promises to be, or at least a very happy one for the players and fans alike.
Justin, very briefly, New Zealand teams have, of course, dominated Super Rugby for many years now. In fact, the Bulls were the last team to have won Super Rugby back in 2010. Early indications are South African team skill level getting there, or is it still work in progress?
Look, Ronald, I think definitely work in progress. I think the All Blacks and their Super Rugby sides have proven over the many years that, even though some South African teams and Australian teams have beaten them, they have what it takes to really come back. So it's a skill level that I think South African teams have not just managed to pull together just yet. So definitely something that they would like to change this year, and hopefully they can, because South African fans duly want a Super Rugby title back in the country.
All right, Justin, I think you better head off to the post-match conference because that game has just ended. Thank you very much, and we'll be hearing from you much later. That was my colleague Justin Ford outside of the Cape Town Stadium where the Superheroes double-header took place ahead of the Super Rugby season.